This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll feel and experience La Jolla, featuring an interview with amazing Shelley Callahan.
Mornings, every single day, is a new adventure. I get up, I walk my dog outside, getting the fresh air from the ocean every day, and I think it does something to your body. I've also always been close to the ocean, and I think that's incredibly powerful and a real privilege. We have the most magical weather in the whole world. Every time I travel and say I'm from Southern California, people are like, oh, wow. And I agree. I think La Jolla is a very special place. Wonderful beaches, a beautiful cottage community, and you have access to the beach, the city. You can even be in the mountains in 2 hours. It's just a very, very special place.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to feel and experience La Jolla? La Jolla has always been a place where land and sea speak to one another. Long before the cliffs were crowned with villas or the scent of salt water mixed with espresso from seaside cafes, the coastline belonged to the Kumeyaay people. They called it Mot Kula Hoi, Land of Holes, a name inspired by the sea caves that the Pacific carved into the sandstone cliffs. These natural openings, sculpted by centuries of waves, became the heart of the place. When Spanish settlers arrived, they heard the word differently, and over time it morphed into La Jolla. Some believed it came from La Jolla, meaning the jewel in Spanish. Others insisted it was from La Jolla, the hollow. Whatever its true origin, both meanings feel right. The jewel that glimmers above the sea, and the hollow carved by time. In the late 1800s, when San Diego was still finding its footing as a growing city, land speculators began to look north toward this rugged coastline. Frank T. Botsford was one of them. In 1886, he purchased over 400 acres of what were then city-owned Pueblo lands and envisioned a coastal paradise he called La Jolla Park. By 1887, the land was subdivided and lots were sold to dreamers, artists, teachers, and adventurers who came seeking beauty and quiet. Back then, there were no paved roads, just trails through sagebrush, and the sound of the ocean was the only constant. But it was the arrival of one remarkable woman that shaped La Jolla's destiny more than any developer ever could. Ellen Browning Scripps, a journalist and philanthropist who made her fortune through her family's newspaper empire, settled here in the 1890s. She was a woman of extraordinary foresight and compassion who saw La Jolla not as a remote seaside retreat, but as a place where science, art, and nature could live in harmony. She built her home on Prospect Street, overlooking the sea, and began quietly transforming the community around her. With her support, the Marine Biological Association of San Diego was established in 1903, a modest experiment that grew into the world-renowned Scripps Institution of Oceanography, one of the oldest centers for ocean and earth science in the world. Later, she helped build the Scripps Memorial Hospital, offering modern medical care to a growing population. She founded the La Jolla Women's Club, the Athenaeum Music and Arts Library, and the Children's Pool, a curved seawall designed so children could safely wade in calm waters, now famously home to a colony of seals. Through her generosity, she didn't just shape buildings, she shaped the soul of the community. Even today, walking along the Coast Walk Trail, a path hugging the cliffs, one can feel the spirit of that early vision, a place where humans and nature coexist in delicate balance. The sandstone beneath your feet has witnessed millions of years of ocean rise and fall, and the caves below, once a sacred landscape for the Kumeyaay, now echo with laughter from kayakers gliding through blue-green water. The same cliffs that once challenged early settlers are now dotted with Mediterranean-style homes, research institutes, and hotels with terraces facing the endless Pacific. Over time, La Jolla evolved into something both refined and untamed. Artists came in the 1920s and 30s, drawn by the light that seemed to paint everything gold. Scientists came later, building on Ellen's dream, among them Jonas Salk, whose institute became a beacon of modern architecture and discovery. And though La Jolla feels like its own coastal kingdom, it remains part of San Diego, bound to the city's history and heartbeat. Yet beneath its polished surface, La Jolla still keeps a hint of the wild. The wind carries whispers from the sea caves, the seals still sunbathe at the children's pool, and the scent of salt and eucalyptus mingles with memory. Here, every sunset feels a little like history repeating itself, a reminder that beauty, like the tides, is ever-changing and eternal. La Jolla is more than just the jewel of San Diego. It is a living story, a blend of indigenous memory, Spanish mystery, pioneer ambition, and the enduring vision of a woman who believed that the greatest treasures are not those you own, but those you help to grow. And here we are. Welcome to La Jolla. I'm so happy to have Shelley Callahan with me today. Shelley Callahan is a strategic marketing executive and growth-focused brand builder with over 20 years of experience transforming B2B brands across life sciences, healthcare, technology, and financial services. As Senior Director of Marketing Operations at Maravai, she leads the digital and technology roadmap that powers scalable growth across multiple brands. Previously, she drove major marketing transformations at Enlyte and Advanced Particle Therapy, helping launch multimillion-dollar solutions and global initiatives in collaboration with leading healthcare institutions. With an MBA and a passion for building high-performing teams, Shelley combines data-driven strategy, creative storytelling, and empathetic leadership to inspire trust, accelerate growth, and elevate brands to category leadership. And today, Shelley invites us into her world, sharing both her inspiring marketing approach and what it feels like to call La Jolla home, the energy, the charm, and the unique spirit of this coastal haven. Hello, Shelley.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to talk about all things California.
Oh, thank you so much for finding the time in your extremely busy schedule. So I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So, Shelley, you live in one of the most beautiful places in California, La Jolla. How would you describe the vibe of this community? And what does it actually feel like to wake up and live there every day?
I think California is a magical place, and I am so lucky to have been born and raised in Southern California, in San Diego. The mornings every single day is a new adventure. I get up, I walk my dog outside, getting the fresh air from the ocean every day, and I think it does something to your body. I've also always been close to the ocean, and I think that's incredibly powerful and a real privilege. We have the most magical weather in the whole world. Every time I travel and say I'm from Southern California, people are like, oh, wow. And I agree. I think La Jolla is a very special place, wonderful beaches, a beautiful cottage community, and you have access to the beach, the city. You can even be in the mountains in 2 hours. It's just a very, very special place.
Yes, it does feel like it. And what are some of your favorite spots in La Jolla?
I'm lucky enough to live right next to Torrey Pines State Beach, and you may be familiar with the very famous Torrey Pines golf course where they have many a tournament.
Yes.
And yes, and you've probably seen it. It's also where people go hang gliding because off the cliffs, it is breathtaking views. And what I love about this, you not only get the beach, but it's this gorgeous hike that you have 360-degree views. And it is my favorite place in the world. I feel like, I get my coffee on the beach and go hike this. And I feel like it inspires me. It feels like it re-energizes me. And I really encourage anybody that comes and visits the area to enjoy it.
Wow. Wow. It must be very inspiring to be surrounded by such beauty.
It really is. They've done lots of studies about the power of walking in nature. And it sounds a little woo-woo, but the science backs it up. It's not just, oh, I get to hike in a special place. It really does change your body. It helps center you. And if your listeners are anything like me, they're always attached to their devices, Teams messages bubbling up. And it's a wonderful chance to feel like you live in a big city, but you can step out into this place where that all goes quiet. You breathe the fresh air straight from the ocean, and you're walking in the very famous Torrey Pines trees in the mountains. And how lucky are we to get to enjoy that every day?
Yes, yes. And then on top of it, your career is extremely demanding because you work in marketing and leadership. And do you think in some way living in such a vibrant and serene environment influences the way you approach your work?
Actually, it's a really interesting question. I think it is important. Teddy wants to be a part of this conversation. Sorry.
That's beautiful.
I think it is really important to have that balance. And, you hear a lot about work-life balance, and a lot of people have different ways of doing that. For me, unwinding in a place where I can get quiet and fresh air. There's lots of places around my area to enjoy hiking or sit at the beach, or even just go to a restaurant where you can sit outside. I think that is very rejuvenating and really helps me to unwind. When I've had a long day, that's usually how I reset. So I turn off my computer, I turn off my messages, I take my dog, Ted, who's a little mini golden doodle.
Oh.
He is definitely my partner in crime. And we just unplug and enjoy the gorgeous weather and that fresh air. And then, of course, all around here, we're really lucky to have some of the best restaurants in the entire world, from small mom and pop taco shops, which don't sleep on any taco shop. La Jolla has so one of my absolute favorites, but also, fine dining Michelin star restaurants. So you kind of get both the enjoyment of nature, but then also the fun with meeting up with friends like you in these fabulous restaurants. And so we're very spoiled in this part of the world.
Oh, it's good to be spoiled. And maybe you can share some of your favorite restaurants. Maybe you can name like top 3.
Ooh, top 3. Well, I love Puesto for its upscale Mexican food. The one in La Jolla is so popular that it's actually turned into a chain. They put one downtown, and they have absolutely incredible filet mignon tacos. I mean, stop it.
Wow.
Yes, it is absolutely fantastic. I also would say the Cottage, which is a very famous, really cute little breakfast place. And it just has that vibe that I think is absolutely La Jolla, which is very friendly, but also, with that chic spin. So it's one of my absolute favorites. Interesting one that is, I would say, fairly new as a local, been here for decades. We won't mention how old I am, but it's a restaurant called Marisi, Marisi. And it is absolutely fantastic. Fresh made pastas, really cute bar. They have some fantastic desserts too, if that's the way you like to roll. Just an absolute gem. And I would say those are always great.
Wow. Well, I need to make plans to come and see you in La Jolla sometime very soon.
I think it's an emergency. It's an emergency.
Yes. After the way you described this restaurants, okay, I feel like I cannot wait any longer.
Come on down. Everyone's welcome in La Jolla.
Yes. So, Shelley, you've built an incredible career, and you transform B2B brands into market leaders across industries, from life sciences to healthcare to financial services. I honestly have no idea how you do that. So this is mind-blowing. So what is the common thread you have discovered about how to build trust and make a brand truly resonate with people?
Well, thank you for the high praise. I love what I do. I think B2B brands, which is business to business as opposed to business to consumer, can be really, really interesting. And the way I always approach it is the same way I'd approach anything in life, is think about the other person and their needs. So instead of spouting off like, this widget does A, B, and C, you'll love it, blah, 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 blah. I think about, what are the customer's needs? What problem are they trying to solve? And then how does my solution help them be successful? And I even think about that of how I approach teams, how I approach mentoring, how I think about all of these pieces. And if you come from that place of service, then the rest really falls into place. It's thinking about, where do your customers want to hear your message? What else can you provide them to be successful? Maybe it's a YouTube video. Maybe it's a white paper that they could download and learn how to do whatever they're working on better. I've been in very interesting businesses, from mRNA to proton therapy to cryogenic logistics to PBM. And all of them have this common thread, where the reason why the business exists and why it will thrive is because we're solving customers' challenges.
And is there much difference for you to work specifically business to business? Because it sounds like it would be much harder to find out what they really need and be of service the way you are to just a human being.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I think when people think about B2B, they think, oh, it's super different. I find that because you're at the end of the day, you're still talking to people. I'm still talking to Masha and what are her business. That helps to identify a target segment. And it would be the same if it was B2C. Like, why would somebody buy this hair product? This, one of my favorite products is a hair volumizer, right? And you could do an ad that talks about, hey, here's all the science behind this hair volumizer. But really, what problem is this trying to solve? I want more volume to my hair. And
Right.
so maybe the ad is, showing the difference in volume. And then you can go in and say, okay, it's also healthy for your hair and yada, yada. But it's the same thing in business to business. What is this solution helping our customers to do? Now, it may take a little more research to get down to what are their core needs. And you can do that by talking to your customers, by doing research, by even seeing what questions people are Googling.
Mm-hmm.
AI is so powerful now. You just ask at ChatGPT and say, hey, what are some of the top questions that this particular segment is facing? And then how do I address those? Bam,
Mm-hmm.
now you've got a segmented strategy. And it's really, really powerful.
Wow, it does sound very powerful. That's incredible. It's as if you do add humanity to businesses, because oftentimes, when you think about corporate America, especially if you're in the service business and work with customers, you think that businesses are just so far away and you don't even think that humans work there.
Right. Right. You nailed it. And when I talk to companies about how to do this better, I do workshops with teams. One of the examples that I love to talk about, I showed two commercials from two different companies. One is Dell, and they show a computer, and you've probably seen these kinds of commercials where they show a phone or a computer and it's spinning around in outer space and it says, 18 gazillion gigs and, this processor and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, great. I get that you're trying to say it's powerful. I don't know what that means. And what does it help me do? I don't know. Right. It's just cool.
Yeah.
All right. Compare that to, I don't know if you remember this Apple commercial back around Christmas a couple of years ago. And you see this kind of mopey teenager always on his phone, and they're going over to grandma and grandpa's for Christmas. And he's on the phone the whole time, ignoring the family, you think.
Yes.
And then at the end, he pulls up this video that he's been making this whole time that is showing all these precious moments with the family interacting. There's mom and grandma in the kitchen making cookies and a snowball fight. And really, you get goosebumps. And, if you're like me, maybe a little teary, you're like, oh my gosh. And it's really bringing you into a story and showing how the product can be used. So it's really bringing in that storytelling as well as showing how the product provides value. And, to this day, people remember that commercial. And that, to me, is incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. So much power in just evoking human feelings and what we can all relate to.
Yeah. And the other piece that I really love, and Apple does a great job, and I think that you do an amazing job of this as well, is storytelling. And that's what your brand is all about. I love, hearing In the Mood in California. I follow you on Instagram, and you're telling these cool stories about this part of the country and this house or this interesting artist. And that's how people remember things. We need data to kind of back up our feelings, but in general, people remember stories. And so if you can pull that into your marketing in a genuine way, then you're set up for success. And now you've created this bond that not only helps the buyer, but it also helps word of mouth. Because what are you going to say? Like, oh, I just got this new phone. Like, have you seen that I can make this video? Let me show you. Even my kid can make this video. Now it's a story that continues on. So that's another powerful aspect that I think you've done an incredible job of really tapping into.
Oh, Shelley, it means so much to me to hear this from you, because I just, always think about ways of being able to connect with people that I do not know. It's much easier to do it with friends because, you've known them for a while and you have common interests, you have shared time together. But you as a person, when you provide a service, you remain the same human being, and to be open to the world, to show who you are, and to tell the world that you want to be of service. You want the best for them and trying to find out what their needs are. It is such an honor for a person who provides a business service like I do.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's really special. And for any marketer to tap into that, things grow organically from there. And that's not to say that it's not easy. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into it, a lot of spreadsheets and project planning. But when it gets down to it, like, what are we actually doing? We're providing a solution, whether it be a product or a service that helps a person and in their capacity with a business to do their job better, to help them be more successful. And that's very cool.
Yes. And what I noticed is that when you are learning how to provide the best solution in a business, it's always about growth.
Yes.
Your own personal growth, no matter what you do professionally, always reflects back who you are as a human being right now. Well, are you learning something new? Are you becoming a better person? Are you doing your work better? And it's always about this incredible evolution that we are all undergoing as human beings, no matter what we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if you embrace that, then you'll thrive in both your personal life as well as your professional life.
Yes, very, very true. And Shelley, your experience spans launching multi-million-dollar solutions. I mean, talking about solutions.
Yeah.
So you've been leading global B2B marketing in oncology and now shaping marketing operations at Maravai. So what has been the most challenging transformation you have led? And what did it teach you about scaling growth in complex industries?
It's definitely something that people are always talking about. And you referenced it earlier, of focused on growth. And we want to hit those KPIs and expand market share, all those kind of normal pieces. What I find the challenging piece is to show the value of marketing internally. And so there's a very powerful balance between the creative and the strategy and all the fun tools that I love, but also not losing sight of the internal storytelling that needs to be done. And so whether that's pulling numbers and analytics to be able to say, okay, these are the number of people that we've been able to touch with our outreach, but then how it's also impacted the business in revenue and wallet share. And that's something that I think as people get more senior in organizations, more and more of their focus is and should be in this area. Because you want to not only say, all right, what's working and what's not working, because no matter how fabulous you are, some things work, some things don't. That's okay. But you want to make sure that you have the measurement in place to say, oh, this is working wonderfully. Let's put more money towards this, or let's double down, or this area could be better. How do we optimize it? And I'm all about optimization in life in general. So I think that's powerful. And then being able to communicate that up in in a story that can be communicated not just to your leader, but also when you're not in the room.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tell that story of the success of the campaign or any of these pieces, and making sure that that story can be told almost in an elevator pitch?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the elevator pitch for marketing this month? What's the elevator pitch for marketing this quarter? What's our overall department story? How do we drive value for the organization so they see marketing not as an expense, but rather as a revenue engine? And I think that mindset shift is the new way of doing business in the current world environment.
Right, right. It sounds like in so many ways that you have to act as a marketing educator, because so many people do not quite grasp the main essence of marketing.
Absolutely. And it's complicated. We think, oh, yeah, I totally understand what X, Y, and Z is because I can see it. But in the same way that I am not in every aspect of finance, where I'm like, okay, what is my aging returns, or what is the depreciation that I'm using? I'm not in the weeds there, and I wouldn't expect that that other parts of the organization are in the weeds with marketing. So it is talking about, here's the number and then here's the impact to the business.
Mm-hmm.
Or here's the feedback that we're getting, and here are two recommendations, A and B. I recommend we go with B. And I think this is the return on investment. So I think leaders can be successful and keep that seat at the table when they do it. And I'm not saying that I'm the best in the world at it. This is my area of continued growth, and where I think as you go in your career, you continue to hone this. But it's maybe one thing that a lot of people don't talk about in marketing.
Yes, yes. And, we don't have to be the best, but we, need to strive to do the best we can. And that's enough.
Absolutely. And we continue to optimize, we continue to refine, we adjust to the organization, and then we go have fun with the marketing stuff that is evolving and it's always changing. I remember when digital marketing was just starting and people are like, oh, we need to build websites. And you look back to the beginning of websites, you're like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Even if you look back then, everything's always evolving in marketing. Nothing ever stays the same. So that's the excitement of it. And, now we're in a brave new world of AI. I remember when we were in the brave new world of social media,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're at the cusp of a radical transformation of marketing our entire world. And so I think everybody should embrace it, play with it, learn about it, and then, see how it fits with their world.
Right. Yes. And looking ahead, what excites you most about where marketing is heading? And, you did mention AI and also MarTech innovation, and then changing customer expectations. Of course, they always change.
Right.
So
Right.
what do you think will always remain timeless and the art of connecting with people?
Good questions. I think looking ahead, what excites me most is AI. And I think we'll see it in a couple different areas. So in the first area, already happening, that a lot of the tools that we're using on a daily basis, AI is built in. So I work specifically with Salesforce and Adobe Commerce. The AI functioning is already inside. Even Microsoft now has AI built inside.
Mm-hmm.
Google, when you Google anything, it's built inside. So I think it's being able to leverage it within the tools themselves. The second thing is, I think marketers need to look beyond ChatGPT. There are a myriad of AI tools out there that can help them be successful, not replace them. It's kind of like doing the stuff that maybe you don't want to do, or it's not the best use of your time. And I think about, explaining this to somebody who way back in the day used a slide rule, and now we have Excel, right?
Yes.
Did that replace people doing, those things? No, it just freed us up to be incredibly powerful. So I don't think people should be worried about AI. I think they should use it as a tool and kind of play around with the infinite possibilities there. What I think will remain timeless, I love the way you phrased it. It's the art of connecting with people.
It is art in and of itself, I would say, yes.
Yeah, it's talking to people. It is communicating through your marketing what you bring to the table, no matter what it is that you're marketing or when you're just meeting a friend. It's being authentic and connecting people in a real way. That will always resonate. That's why people, sometimes get creeped out by AI, because it is not authentic. It is not you and I chatting. It's okay, I'm chatting with a bot. No, maybe I want straightforward information about something. And so great, it can look it up for me the way we used to look up stuff in card catalogs. But I still want a conversation with an expert when I'm looking to buy a house. Yeah, I can get the list of the questions I need answered, but I need somebody to walk me through the whole process. I need somebody I can trust to have these deep conversations with a big purchase and help me kind of think through things. And that's where that authentic connection happens regardless of your business.
This is so true, Shelley. And I think one of the main reasons this will always remain timeless is because I think it's only another human being who can give empathy to the other one.
Absolutely. Help people with their joy, their fear, their questions, their camaraderie.
Yes. And I want to thank you for this beautiful, insightful, soulful conversation and sharing what you do and the vibe of La Jolla, which is such a magical place. And I hope you will continue doing this amazing work that you do and fostering empathy and fostering accountability and fostering beautiful human connections with all the people and businesses that you work with. So thank you so much for doing all of this, Shelley. And thank you for finding the time to have this conversation with me today.
It's been my absolute pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you in La Jolla soon.
Yes, we should make a reservation at your favorite restaurant right now.
Done. Let's go get tacos.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for tuning in to Feel and Experience La Jolla with my special guest, Shelley Callahan. If you enjoy my podcast, In the Mood for California, please sign up for future episodes at your preferred platform, and please leave your feedback. I really appreciate your time and support. You can also follow me on Instagram at In the Mood for California and check out my website www.inthemoodforcalifornia.com. Our next story is waiting just around the corner and will wander somewhere new, another place where California's history, imagination, and spirit come alive. I cannot wait to discover it with you.
In the Mood for California, feel the soul of Old Hollywood.